Hello everybody, my name is Luke Marr and this is HauteLeMode, and today on HauteLeMode we are going to be talking about something you guys have been requesting for a while, and that is we're going to be reacting, discussing, and analyzing some of the looks from the hit HBO TV show Euphoria. Before we get any further into the video though, if you guys are looking for a channel that talks about fashion in the most fun, sassy, bitchy, analytical way, this is it, so you can go down below, hit the subscribe button, and turn on my post notifications. I mean, like, what do you have to lose? You're already here. And if you guys want to see more from me, you can follow me on Instagram at HauteLeMode. I post some pretty poppin' fashion memes, and my Instagram stories are always pretty lit. And if you want to see even more from me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at HauteLeMess. It's where I post more of my personal opinions and outfits, so enjoy. Now let's get into Euphoria and its fashion. Now Euphoria is a TV show that has captured the spirit of the modern American teen. It deals with a plethora of issues like drug addiction, domestic abuse, sexuality, sex work, and blackmail, just to name a few elements of the show. And literally that's just a minute few. Critics have praised the show, and from what I've heard behind the scenes, fashion brands are clamoring for the show's stars to start wearing their clothes and attending their shows. And considering that many of the show's characters' makeup and wardrobe have become easy fodder on social media for inspiration, I think it would be kind of hard for me not to discuss it. So let's start to get into it. We'll be discussing 4 of the main characters, whose wardrobes we encounter and that have some major wow fashion moments. So we'll be looking at Rue, Jules, Maddie, and Kat. First up is Rue. Rue Bennett is the main character of the series and narrates the experiences and traumas of all of the other characters. She's our guide into the world of Euphoria, but also has her own problems. She also happens to be played by none other than Zendaya. She is a recovering drug addict who was previously OD'd, which has caused many an issue for her and her family. Upon starting her junior year of high school, Rue falls in love with a girl named Jules, who she becomes best friends with / lovers with, but also is somebody that she uses as a goal for her sobriety. Rue's wardrobe throughout the show has a very masculine side to it, while also being quite demure. I mean, it still stands out, but it is a lot less flashy and eye-catching compared to many of the other characters throughout the show. I personally believe that her wardrobe is done like this because she doesn't really want to draw attention to herself. For the first half of the show, Rue really struggles with her drug addiction. And the first rule of not getting caught doing drugs is usually to remain pretty invisible. Hence the wardrobe of Converse, baggy khaki shorts, and that all-encompassing burgundy hoodie. Costume designer for the show, Heidi Bevins, a longtime fashion stylist who has worked with magazines like ID and Purple, has never actually confirmed this, but to me, it just seems to make a lot of sense. If you're doing very illegal activity where your family is constantly checking in on you and making you pee into a cup, you're not going to be out there wearing Givenchy haute couture and, making a damn scene all of the time. And while many will say Rue kind of looks lazy and sloppy throughout most of the season, that isn't necessarily true. Because her fantasy narration sequences, like the dick pic scene and the Detective Rue scene, really show that in certain aspects, Rue definitely can dress up, even if it's just in her head. In her dick pics monologue, which I never thought I would actually say dick pic monologue, but dick pic monologue, she actually wears a burgundy fitted jumpsuit and proceeds to show one of the only refined looks that we get from Rue during the entire season. But still, I am grateful for it. Listen, if you're gonna do a dick pic monologue, might as well, look great in a suit. In her Detective Rue scene, she wears a white shirt, green khakis, and this little tan leather harness holding, honestly, I don't know what, but something important, I'm sure. It's not exactly the most fashionable look I've ever seen, but it is one of the more lighthearted parts of the show, considering it's so heavy and dark often, that it's nice to see Zendaya and Rue just, in a fun look, having a character moment where it's just enjoyable to watch. Rue does have a great affinity for layering though. She is often wearing a short sleeve baggy shirt, sometimes printed in funky psychedelic prints or, hot Cheeto Flame Hawaiian shirts. And oftentimes they are layered with juxtapositioning tops like long sleeve shirts or crop tops. But the most important aspect of Rue's whole wardrobe is her burgundy hoodie. In the season finale, the hoodie, which we have seen Rue wearing since the first episode of season 1, is revealed to be the sweatshirt that her father left behind after he passed away. Rue walks into his room and immediately picks up the hoodie and holds it close to her. The sweatshirt has actually been described as Rue's safety blanket, and it's become somewhat of a symbol for Rue and the show. Zendaya posted about being obsessed with the hoodie and somewhat trying to steal it off set, and HBO has even started to sell these burgundy hoodies as part of the Euphoria merch line. And during the finale, when Rue performs All of Us, the song for the show, the chorus that is surrounding her and singing with her also wears burgundy choir robes. To me, this just further signifies that burgundy is the color of Rue and the love that she shares for all the people around her. Rue isn't the most exciting character style-wise, but that doesn't mean that her clothing choices and outfits don't actually have some significance. Next up is Jules, our resident fashion girl. Literally, Jules is the breakout star of Euphoria, and so is the actress that plays her, Hunter Schafer. Hunter, before being an actress, had modeled for the likes of Dior, Helmut Lang, Versace, Coach, Margiela, just to name a very select few, and I swear to God, it's literally just a few. She and Heidi Bevins worked together to incorporate these fashion aesthetics into her style for the show. The first look to really see who Jules is when she encounters Nate and McKay on the way home riding her bike. She's wearing a pink tennis skirt, which is mentioned in the things that Nate loves during the what Nate finds attractive scene, while also wearing a long sleeve polka dot turtleneck, a bright pink little furry backpack, and of course she's wearing her platforms. Bevins has noted that Jules' character loves anime and really enjoys incorporating cute elements into her wardrobe early on in the season. It's also important to mention that Jules has been said to have a desire to attract men, which reflects in her wardrobe. So she dresses like a young girl would. It's sexy, it's fantasy, it, draws in a certain kind of man. And a perfect example of that is the sheer floral top and cutout dress that she wears to McKay's party. While the other cast members do have some really good sartorial moments, I will say I think Jules has the best of the best. She literally just takes the cake when it comes to wearing designer brands. She shows up in a plethora of Ecos Lotta looks, which I wouldn't be shocked to see her walking or sitting front row at their show this coming September. But she also wears a shit ton of other brands like Stella McCartney, Jeremy Scott, Lou Dallas, Hyencio, Alexander Wang, Arax, and Opening Ceremony. She has taste buds, she just has taste buds. She just does. In a scene where Rue and Jules are just laying on Jules's bed, she is wearing a printed crop top that says Atomic on it, and also wearing a pair of pink metallic panties. Throughout the beginning of the show, it's alluded to that Jules may be trans, but this scene helps to confirm it. And while I'm not trans and I definitely can't speak on transness, I will say that I feel like this scene will help to just normalize transness just a little bit more. And it really shows that no matter a person's genitalia, who they are is who they are, and how they present themselves is how they should be seen. And as the show progresses, Jules, who is wearing these cutesy plaid skirts and great little sheer tops with flowers and daisies and florals, begins to change her aesthetic as the season progresses. Heidi Bevin explained in an interview with Fashionista, although she was looking for approval from men in the beginning, she quickly evolves into this more independent thinking person and is empowered. So she starts dressing less in a way that tries to get attention from men. You can see that throughout the progression on the show where she's not dressing as cutesy. To me, one of the most important scenes where this really does start to happen is the scene where she goes to the police department to do Nate's bidding. She wears this graphic sweater that, to me, just really signifies this changing of Jules. She's no longer pink and light colors and pastels. She sort of like embraces this queerness, it feels like to me, this otherness that she really takes on both in like what she wears but also how she presents herself now. And I think that if you look at her school dance outfit, which is a Lou Dallas creation, it seems that Jules no longer is wearing these cute dresses and skirts, but rocking pants and crop tops with more masculine tailored coats. It could be Rue's more masculine energy rubbing off on her, or it's maybe that she's finding herself in more of a queer sense and really embracing that otherness after she visits the city where she really seems to want to go by the end of the season. But either way, it seems like season 2 Jules is not going to stop giving us amazing fashion moments. They'll just be a little bit different. Next up is Maddy Perez. Maddy Perez is a hot girl. Like, that's literally her description. That's her describer to me. She's not just a hot girl, but like she is the hot girl, you know? She also happens to be the on-again, off-again girlfriend of the series' antagonist, Nate Jacobs. Boo. And her wardrobe throughout the show really does cause quite a stir. Maddie does what Maddie wants, if you couldn't tell, and it truly makes her wardrobe choices all the more interesting. She normally is wearing matching sets, and one of the matching sets that she wears is a rainbow Louis Vuitton matching body con set, which is where her on-again, off-again boyfriend Nate Jacobs actually first notices her. Heidi Bevins mentions that Billie Eilish was one of the inspirations for this outfit because she loved the fact that Eilish wore these like fake logo monogram branded suits, which just weren't real. And seeing how Eilish is taking over the music industry, I mean, it's hard not to realize that yeah, her style is going to eventually trickle down to the youth. Another great set for Maddie is her Chanel-inspired suit. I don't know if it's actually Chanel. I just wouldn't think it is, but like, listen, who knows? The salmon suit with blue piping is reminiscent of the classic Chanel tweed suit. And the crop jacket and pencil skirt really just makes it super Maddie-fied, which, yes. But the look that many credit being Maddie's best is her look during episode 4's Town Carnival. It's a matching purple set with cutouts that showcase her hips and ass. It is the ultimate bad bitch outfit, and it also is from I Am Gia, and listen, I never thought in my life that I would respect something from I Am Gia, but like, here we are. Euphoria is changing minds in so many ways. The look holds quite a lot of meaning because it creates the initial tension between Maddie and Nate, as Maddie wears it intending to meet Nate's family for the first time. Upon seeing Maddie's outfit, Nate calls her, and I quote, a hooker, and asks that she goes home, changes, and returns to meet his parents looking like a person. In one scene, he actually exposes his lack of true care for Maddie, who she is, and what she wears, which is a reflection of herself, Nate, you douche, while also denigrating sex workers as less than people. It's a very telling scene. And it's all because his girlfriend just wanted to look like a bad bitch to meet his parents. Wow, trash. Nate then proceeds to choke Maddie whilst she's wearing the look, after scolding her for embarrassing him in front of his parents. Heidi Bivens mentions that the look actually was not created necessarily by I Am Gia. They wouldn't make it in the color or in the fabric that Bivens wanted, so she actually got permission from them to make it herself in the style of the I Am Gia look. Honestly, this is probably the most important outfit of the entire series because it really does create such tension in the group, but it also is just amazing to see that Maddie as a character, her sense of style really does like narrate and guide her throughout the series, which we love. Finally, let's talk about Kat Hernandez. Kat is probably a fashion lover's favorite character, not because she has the designer label looks like Jules or the sexiest outfits like Maddie, but because fashion is such a huge factor in her finding herself. And Bivens utilizes Kat's wardrobe to the fullest when she's really trying to accessorize Kat's personality and what's going on in her life with the use of clothing. Kat is also a junior in high school who goes into the school year being very body conscious, which is interesting because the actress who plays her, Barbie Ferrara, is a well-known plus-size model who has broken a lot of boundaries in the modeling industry. Kat, in the beginning, wears some very bland and boring looks. It's usually black jeans and a shirt that really tries to cover her up. But throughout the season, when Kat really starts to have these realizations that Her body is beautiful, and the more confident she is, the more that she has a sex appeal, which gives her even more confidence. She really starts to like hit these fashion home runs out of the park. She discusses in a monologue that everybody knows that she's big and that there's no point of her trying to hide it. So she begins to turn out looks that are much more eye-catching and are much more of attention getters. The first outfit where she really starts to feel herself is a vintage white t-shirt, red and black plaid skirt, fishnet stockings, a Doc Marten, and a lace-up corset that she layers over the t-shirt. It feels like Kat is finally starting to believe in herself, and the way that she portrays her outfit also really makes the audience start to believe in her too. She's no longer hiding her body, instead she's embracing it and utilizing accessories and clothing that is actually going to accentuate everything going on. Soon after this, Kat starts to perform online as a cam girl. And from that point on, the money she starts to make from her cam work allows her to add much chicer options to her wardrobe. And we love it. You'll notice that Kat starts to embrace stereotypically sexy fabrics like PVC and leather, and also starts to really embrace harnesses, which do have sexual connotations to most. Kat's real defining look, though, is the red sheer Jean Paul Gaultier parrot top with black body harness, red jeans, and black boots. In this scene, she walks confidently through a mall, and you can see the camera pan to men acknowledging her. The color red is often seen as a color of sex and passion, which is something that Kat's character has been playing around with for the whole season. And besides from the look being a total serve, which it truly is, Euphoria utilizes society's ideal woman as a background for Kat's empowerment. She walks up to a Calvin Klein underwear campaign that is sitting in the middle of this mall and begins to readjust her lipstick. In the scene, Kat is really redefining what the idea of sexy is and what attractiveness can be, and her outfit is playing a major role in it. Her look for the school dance also is very, very telling. It really does showcase the red, which really seems to be a color that Kat really responds to. It also happens to incorporate the leather and PVC elements, which we've also seen. It does really have this very interesting little tidbit about sort of like childhood and childlike aesthetics, because there are these very tiny little tied black bows on the straps of the dress. To me, this really signifies that deep down there is this innocence there of Kat, that she is still a young girl in high school who doesn't necessarily know herself completely, but she's really putting on and embracing this new confidence and, you know, personhood that she has gained throughout the season. And also, again, like, listen, if anybody showed up to my high school dance wearing that, I would have been like, oh my god, I am actually truly a heterosexual man. Nice to meet you. Kat finishes the season out really, really strong, and again, I'm just very excited to see where it goes for her in season 2. Overall, to me, Euphoria is a TV show that I think is going to be very influential in the end of 2019 and the beginning of the 2020s. I mean, listen, the 20s are normally a very fashionable decade, so I'm hoping that Euphoria really does have a hold and grasp on sartorialness in general. And I'm hoping that Heidi Bivens continues to fucking slay shit, because thank you, Heidi. We really don't deserve you. So that is it for the video. I'd love to know what you guys think about Euphoria, the fashion, the style, the makeup. Listen, I'm not a makeup guru, so I didn't really talk about it a lot, but it is also super amazing, so enjoy that. I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and TTYL.